the second year. So all in all, by the time I was done the second year, I was at 100 homes that I had sold all together. So now I'm coming up into my anniversary for my third year. So we'll see what we do this year. But yeah, so I did 100 homes all together. And that was still by myself, not including my team, not including, the agents that I have now, because I just opened up my firm in September of 2021. To be honest, I have never had to pay for leads. A lot of people do Zillow, Realtor.com, things of that nature. I've put up a billboard, because I really just wanted to have a billboard in the city. I've done we did like a seminar before that didn't really work out. I tried different things, but I've never had to lead generate. I've always getting majority of my leads come from Instagram, social media. So about 80 to 90% Instagram and Facebook. And then 10 to 20% is going to be just referral based. And I think because I tell people I'm not transactional, I'm relationship driven. And so I'm happy birthday and I'm coming to the cookouts. I'm, here, at the funerals or, the weddings and things of that nature, baby showers. And so I become family. And so I think that the relationship component is what helps to where I don't have to, put a system in place for lead generation.
You are listening to the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast with host Kevin Jefferson. This is the #1 podcast for African American real estate professionals who are doing extraordinary things. It's time to tune in. And now, your host, the People's Lender, Kevin Jefferson.
Welcome to the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Jefferson, and today our guest is Miss Kendra Conyers. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to this interview. We got a lot of questions for you.
Okay, well, let's get started.
All right, cool. So Kendra, tell us a little bit about who you are.
So I am a North Carolina multi-million-dollar producing real estate agent. I own my own brokerage in Charlotte and Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm also a public figure and a philanthropist. I love encouraging and inspiring women. So I have a women's ministry, She Became. And so that's really what encompasses me as a person in general. Yeah.
Got you. All right. So how did you get into real estate?
So funny story. I was actually working at the city of Atlanta when I lived in Atlanta, and I was wanting to have a promotion on my job. So I am a God's girl. So I prayed and fasted for God to answer my prayer and to get the promotion at the city of Atlanta. And I received the instructions to actually resign from my job, move back to Fayetteville and get into real estate. And so at that point in my life, I said, you know what I have been doing up until this point was not working for me. And so let me try a different route. I had no idea how it was going to work out because I have no prior sales experience. Real estate was something that I always had a passion for, but I didn't know that you could actually make it a career because it's commission based. And so I said, you know what, the worst case scenario that happened is I'll just go bankrupt if this doesn't work out. But let me just obey God and go ahead and move into this realm. And so that's how the whole real estate thing came about. And I jumped right in, got my license and got started.
Wow. So you left Atlanta to become successful.
Yes, I left Atlanta. And
Wow.
I thought, shouldn't it be opposite? Wouldn't I be successful in real estate in Atlanta? Not in Fayetteville, North Carolina, because it's a smaller city. And, but I said, you know what? Wherever God guides, he's going to provide. So I said, let me just be obedient. Let me go ahead and go back to North Carolina.
Got you. Okay. So we left Atlanta. We're in North Carolina. How soon did you get started on the process of becoming a realtor? So
I left Atlanta in October of 2018. And then I was in my moving process, got here officially towards the Christmas. And then I went ahead and took my real estate exam or class in January. It was about a 5-week class. And then you take your in-class test and you get out of the class and take your state exam. And so during that time period, I would say by about March, I officially received my license in the mail, passed it, got activated, around April. I want to say April 7th. My license was fully activated in my new brokerage, and I ended up selling my first home by May 30th. So about 45 days after. And then right after that, it seemed like about 90 days after that, I had cleared $1 million, producing $1 million in sales. Because I just kept closing homes after that. And it just seems like it has just been on the up and up since then.
So typically it takes about 6 months to close your first deal in real estate. How were you able to do it in 45 days? Where'd that lead come from?
So the first one was actually a friend of my mom's who wanted to sell her condo. It was a $50,000 little condo that she wanted to sell. And so she was selling her house, which was 200 something thousand, in her condo. She said, you know what? I already signed the documents with the agent that I had previous, and it's a seasoned agent. I'll let him have the house because it's a bigger transaction, and I'll let you have the condo. And I know that was basically, code for just in case you mess it up, I don't have to lose so much money. So she let me do the condo, and she was so blown away. I got the condo, I got it cleaned out. I did my own pictures on my iPad, edit the pictures myself, angled the pictures, post the pictures up, had the yard signs out, kept promoting it, went around the neighborhood, passing flyers out for this condo. She ended up getting an all cash offer in 7 days. Now, this was pre-COVID. So anybody who knows pre-COVID market, houses sat on the market for extended periods of time. I got her condo under contract with all cash offer in 7 days. And she was just super blown away because it was a 10-day closing. So she was just like, wow, you really went to bat, and so she ended up letting me sell the house as well. But from there, I began to door knock. I began to, do Facebook statuses and Facebook videos. I would inbox people and, tell them I'm a real estate agent here in the city if they needed any help or just wanted to know where they stood. And so from there, people just begin to respond and begin to reach out. I think a lot of people, especially in the African-American community, didn't really realize that, hey, I could buy a house for, in our area, a 580 credit score is the minimum. I could buy a house. I just need 2 years of consistent, employment. I can buy a house as a veteran on a VA loan. It was 100%, financing. So at that time, pre-COVID, the sellers would pay your closing costs. So majority of my veterans could get a house for like $200, their deposit. And so that's where I began to pick up that traction and that speed, especially this one guy. He was my very first buyer client. He was homeless and he was a prior military he served in the military, and on a VA loan, I ended up getting him approved for $275,000, and that's like above the median in my area. And we closed on. He was a single father of two, and they were homeless. We closed on a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath home, and he was my first buyer client. He talks about me even still to this day. It's been 3 years. He always posted about me and is like, this person really went hard for me when I didn't think I could buy a home, when I didn't have anywhere to go, when I didn't have anywhere to live, me and my kids. This person brought me out the gutter and put me into a house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So no real estate experience. What was it that gave you that drive? Because that's just straight hustle.
Yeah.
Right? You came out of the gate to hustle. What prior experience or what was it was there anything besides God that pushed you that way? Because you just don't do that. You don't hear those stories and you just don't do that in any business.
Yeah. I know that for me, I've always been an overachiever, and I've always been a type of person that I'm not going to do something unless I'm going to give it 110%. If I can't devote that amount of energy and effort and attention towards it, I'm just not going to do it. And so it was either sink or swim. I had left my job, resigned from my job, moved back to Fayetteville, moved into the bonus room of my mom's house. I have no backup plan, no interviews, no job, nowhere to stay. But here, I have to make this work. And, I don't want to get to the end of the rope saying, if I'd have tried a little harder, if I'd have knocked on one more door, if I would have made one more phone call, maybe I could have made it. And so I said, you know what, let me give this thing all I have and let me just see if it works out. Because you're right. My broker in charge told me it took her a year to sell her house. One of her close friends who owns her farm told me it took her 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. And I was like, listen, I don't have to use someone else's success story or someone else's, what happened for them as my mirror. I can create my own narrative. I can create my own path, and I can make this thing work, because I can't wait 6 and 7 months or a year. I didn't have that much money saved in order to close on the house. I had to get to the closing table.
Wow. So how did your first year end up? Do you remember your sales volume?
My first year, I sold 42 homes that year.
No experience.
No experience, no prior sales experience, real estate experience. The only real estate experience I had was sitting at my job, swiping through Zillow all day long. I would literally just be on Zillow, looking at homes and just looking at the architect, looking at who built it, trying to sneak my way into open houses around Atlanta, because I just loved real estate. It was just something that I did in my pastime.
Okay. So 42 homes in your first year.
Yes.
What did that look like in terms of your first listing came from a family friend,
Mm-hmm.
and you said your next transaction was the homeless person?
Yes.
Okay. After that, how were you able to scale? Because that's a lot of homes.
Yes. I think because I kept posting the success stories, and I'm a storyteller by nature. I like to, don't ask me a question if you don't have 5 minutes to sit there, because I like to tell you the whole story, how I felt, this person felt. And so that's what I did in my captions online. When I sold my homes, I would tell stories, how they got there. I think a lot of people started seeing themselves in my stories. Like, oh my God, I'm mad. Oh my God, I struggle with that. Or that's, my issue. That was my fear. Or, whatever the case may be. And people just started reaching out, DMing me, and, just reaching out based on, my willingness to help you, my willingness to, like, I don't care if it's not a cookie cutter file. If you are going to believe in me to be a real estate agent, then I'm going to make sure that you get to that closing table. And so that's where it began to just skyrocket.
Got you. So in your first year, do you remember the balance between listings and buyers?
The first year was a lot more buyers, lot more buyers. It wasn't until year 2 up until now that I'm getting a lot more listings, especially now, a lot more listings. But in the beginning, it was a lot of buyers. Sometimes I would close 9 homes in a single month, and it would just be straight buyers, or it would be maybe 7 buyers and 2 sellers for that month.
Okay. So as you're growing to the 42 transactions, what did your team look like?
So that was just straight me. It was me by myself before I started a team, before I opened up my own brokerage. It was myself and then my transaction coordinator that were doing that. And so it was it was stressful. I'm not gonna lie. It was stressful because trying to juggle all those files, but having a transaction coordinator really helps, because, they help you from contract to close. So now I can go out, post, and take pictures and get more clients while you're making sure that you're managing the transaction all the way through.
Got you. So what 42 homes, do you remember the volume?
I don't. I'm the type of person that I never really, that is something that I don't ever look up on the MLS. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, well, how much do you sell? 20 million, 15 million? Like, I said, to be honest, I would have to go look, but I never do that. I always just count the number of homes. It wasn't until this year that I said, this is how much volume I want to do, because I want to reduce that number and just pick up higher price points, so I don't have to run all around town working so crazy person, up all night and all morning and things of that nature. So I haven't looked at the volume. I just know the amount of homes.
Okay. So going from year 1 into year 2, were there any changes that you made in your business? Since you said it was so hectic, was there anything that you added besides the transaction coordinator?
Yeah, absolutely. I said, I got to work smarter and not harder. And so I decided to, begin to leverage. So, my transaction coordinator, then doing a showing assistant and an executive assistant, so I can leverage my time and, just buy my time back. Because I realized, yes, I, made a lot of money. Yes, I closed a lot of deals, but I had no time. I had no peace. It seemed like that my days were merging together. People be reaching out to me early in the morning, late at night. I began to set hours, like, hey, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's it. Anything before that, my phone is on do not disturb. So you're not getting a response back. Anything after that is on do not disturb. So you're not getting a response back. So putting in those hours, those boundaries, and then hiring staff to leverage the clientele is what really helped in that second year.
Got you. So how did the second year fare compared to year one?
It did good the second year. So all in all, by the time I was done with the second year, I was at 100 homes that I had sold all together. So now I'm coming up into my anniversary for my third year. So we'll see what we do this year. But so I did 100 homes all together. And that was still by myself, not including my team, not including, the agents that I have now, because I just opened up my firm in September of 2021.
Okay. So what system do you have in place for lead generation?
I get that question often. To be honest, I have never had to pay for leads. A lot of people do Zillow, Realtor.com, things of that nature. I've put up a billboard, because I really just wanted to have a billboard in the city. I've done we did like a seminar before that didn't really work out. I tried different things, but I've never had to lead generate. I've always getting majority of my leads come from Instagram, social media. So about 80 to 90% Instagram and Facebook. And then 10 to 20% is going to be just referral based. And I think because I tell people I'm not transactional, I'm relationship driven. And so I'm happy birthday and I'm coming to the cookouts. I'm, here, at the funerals or, the weddings and things of that nature, baby showers. And so I become family. And so I think that the relationship component is what helps to where I don't have to, put a system in place for lead generation. Now I'm looking into some other things to help with the agents that are in my office. But for me, myself, I haven't had to do that.
Wow. So since you're speaking about your agents, what inspired you to open up an agency?
Again, it really just goes back to God and being obedient. I was fine doing my thing with my previous firm and selling real estate. It was him that was like, I want you to branch out and do your own thing and carry your own name, because I'm trying to do something within the earth with my agenda. And so I need you to be in alignment. And so it was faster than what I wanted to, because I felt like I wanted to, be a little more in the game and a little more seasoned. But as I sit back, there's even people that tell me, even like some of my agents who are coaching other agents that are on social media, asking them questions, and they have their own broker in charge. And they're like, oh my God, you know so much. And they're like, yeah, because Kendra teaches us, a lot. And I guess because even though it's only been a short amount of time I've been in real estate, I've sold so many homes that I pretty much really know not all, but majority of the things that may or could go wrong, or how you need to jump in front of things, or whatever boils down to the transaction, either on the buyer or seller side.
Got you. So, okay, we opened up one brokerage. What made you do two?
Well, one of my really close friends, she's in Charlotte. She used to be with Berkshire Hathaway, and so me and her actually graduated, well, not graduated, but got licensed at the same time. We finished real estate school. She was over there, I was here. And so she wanted to merge together, because me and her have always just we bounce ideas off each other, do business and things of that nature. And so because those fees were higher and we were going to do so much business together anyway, we were like, okay, let's just merge under one roof. And so that's why I kind of had to simultaneously do Fayetteville and Charlotte, because she's there. And so she used to close all my Charlotte leads anyway. Prior to me opening up a brokerage, we just split the deal. And so now she just covers our Charlotte market. And then we have the Fayetteville market that what I primarily work out of.
Got you. All right. So I want to kind of unpack a couple things, right? So how many agents do you have?
5.
5. Have you been able to duplicate yourself with your agents?
I haven't tried to. Tried to. My thing is just to pull out what you're best at, what you want to do. Some people have, goals of just selling one home a month. Some people just want to make some extra cash. Some people, want to do it part-time and they actually they have a full-time job. They've been there for a decade. And so I haven't duplicated myself because there hasn't been a desire to do so.
What's the name of your brokerage?
Kendra Conyers and Associates, Luxury Real Estate.
Gotcha. Awesome. So with that being said, does that take more time from your sales coaching your agents?
I wouldn't say it takes more time. I just have to time block and dedicate my time. So I can't do so much of what I used to do because I need that mental space, that capacity, that head space to dedicate to them. If they have questions or they're discouraged and I need to encourage them, or when we have our training nights and stuff like that. So I think it's more so just kind of cutting back the unnecessary over here so I could be necessary over there.
Got you. 3 years in the game, 100 transactions under your belt, 100 plus transactions under your belt. What would Kendra today tell the rookie Kendra to do differently, even though she had a level of success early?
Everyone is not your client. That is one thing that I had to learn the hard way. You get into sales and you want to close or help everyone. For one, because it's sales based, so you never know when the next one is going to come. So you want to grab everything and everybody. But I've realized my peace matters so much more. I would not trade my peace. If you are going to disrupt my peace, whether you're a client, whether you're a friend, I will quickly remove you. And I've had, I didn't do it then. I had a transaction, it was $45,000 condo, $45,000 condo. This particular person drove me to drink. And it was like, it wasn't worth it. No amount of time is worth it, but $45,000 condo, and you are calling me all times of the night. You are going out and purchasing a vehicle, and we're in the middle of a real estate transaction. You're not getting your paperwork on time. It was just so much stuff, and I was just like, listen, this is just too much of a headache. And so now, fast forward, I let a client go that was approved for $700,000. I'm like, listen, I already see the signs. I do not care how much this commission check is going to be. It's just not worth it. It's not worth my peace. And so I would just say, everyone is not your client. The ones who are your client are the ones who are okay with the boundaries, okay with their systems and process set in place. Because for me, when you come to purchase a home from me, you don't talk to me right away. You talk to my client care manager because we need to vet you out and we need to get you to the point of being pre-approved. And then once you're ready to get pre-approved, then you go to my preferred lender. And then you sit down with me, because a lot of times when you're front facing people, even when you go to the doctor's office, you don't see the doctor right away. Somebody comes in and does the vitals. When you go to the dentist, you have your dental assistant that comes in and do that. And so I don't think a lot of people understand, like, having those layers in place vets out the people who really are ready to buy a home and the people who are just here to just chat. And that's another thing I did. I had so many consultations, so many appointments with people. I mean, it was one time where I think I was seeing about 5 to 10 people a week. And it was like 1 to 3 a month that were actually getting to the closing table, actually getting started with the process. And so I was like, listen, this is not going to work. So just putting things in place to help you, systemize the business and just understand that everyone isn't your client. That's what I would tell my old self.
Got you. And that's big. Having that peace of mind, because we think if we lose that one commission, then, it's messed up. However, what we don't understand is that getting that time back allows for us to close on more serious people.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, more serious people. Awesome. What are your goals for Kendra Conyers and Associates?
So I just told my team this. I said, our goal for this year is to do at least 30 million in volume. And between Charlotte and Fayetteville, I believe that we can do that. And to get to a place and to a point where we're just operating in our own individual, lights and our own individual processes and not making it like anyone else's. I think a lot of new agents come into the game and feel like I gotta be like this person. I gotta do the reels like that. I gotta go live like this. I'm not a person that I don't like live at all. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have lives that I have to do today and it's giving me anxiety. Lives are just not my thing. And so it's like creating the space where you can shine, but still in that same industry. So the goal is for us to be our own individuals. Our goal is for us to sell 30 million in real estate. And our goal is for us to all evolve from a caterpillar to a butterfly and become the woman that we were designed and called to be. And even outside of real estate, tapping into your own individual passions. Like one agent I have, she loves doing makeup and she does makeup really well. Someone else, wants to do motivational speaking, just making sure that those things, you can merge the two worlds. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be an and.
Got you. In terms of a new agent, what would be a bit of advice besides knowing, who your client is? Like, what would be a few tips that you would give them in terms of selecting a brokerage? Because it's a lot of them out here.
Yeah, I would say definitely go somewhere where you feel at home, that you can encompass the values and the core values and what that company stands for. Because I made the mistake thinking that I needed to go to big brokerages so I could close more deals. People don't buy what you do, where you are, they buy you. And so it doesn't matter what name is attached to it, they're buying into you. And so I ended up choosing a smaller brokerage, was literally 3 agents, her and just 2 of us at the time. And so a lot of people like to go to the bigger brokers. They're like, I'm gonna get this ton of help and all these leads. And I found what people wrote me and was like, they felt like a number. They felt like that, they may have had training classes, but no one's here to handhold, walk with you through the process. And they're giving the lead to the top producing agents. So, where we're thinking like, oh yeah, I can get, a bunch of leads and stuff from these bigger brokerages and stuff. And so I say it's all about what is going to fit you. Some people thrive in those environments. They need to be around a bunch of people and having a bunch of stuff going on. I like more intimate settings. That's how I thrive. I'm able to ask you questions. I'm able to actually talk to my broker in charge. And it's not like having to go through somebody else. I'm able to sit down and have a one-on-one training or a meeting. And so I think just remember that you are interviewing them. They're not interviewing you. I think a lot of people, because we have that 9 to 5 mentality, we think that we're being interviewed. Like we need to say all the right things so they'll pick me. No, you need to make sure that everything that they're saying aligns with what you want in life and you pick them. You're going around and you're interviewing different brokerages. And I always say to at least 5, go to 5 different brokerages, schedule the meeting, look around the office, get a feel for the office, get a feel for even how they greet you, the front desk, if they have a front desk and things of that nature. So you can really narrow down, okay, this is going to be a good fit for me and my personality and my business.
Wow. All right. I've got a question for you. And you say you've essentially done it though, but you've got to move to a new city. Mm-hmm. You have to leave Fayetteville. All you have is your cell phone and $1,000 to market. What would you do?
I would definitely start with my sphere of influence. Start with the people who already know you. Make sure they all know. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking if I post all day long. No, sometimes you have to apply pressure to letting people know, like, hey, I'm letting you know I'm a real estate agent. Exhaust your contact list. Reach out to the people and send them a text message. Reach out to them and let them know individually, hey, this is what I'm doing. Can you help me get to my goal? Ask them, do you know anybody at work? Can I put some cards in your office? Can I come by your work and speak to the people on the lunch break? I've done lunch and learns, things of that nature with people that are already my friends, are already my family, that already love me. So they're going to say yes. I don't have to pay to get into those rooms.
Awesome. Great information. I know you have had a high level of success early. Do you have a coach?
I do not. That's one thing that I need to work on getting. I've had people that I've taken classes and I've had people where I've done their seminars and things of that nature, but I've not been able to like find a coach that I feel like really wanted to see me win, was okay with teaching me the things that I needed to do to get where I need to get specifically for real estate. I've not come across that, but that is a desire.
Got you. Any aspirations of opening up a third brokerage?
Yes, we are working on Houston, Texas.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
Yeah. And to be honest, between Atlanta and Houston, I get a lot of leads from the two of them. And so when it makes sense, I go for it.
Got you. And I guess the Atlanta Association is because you lived here at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on coming back?
No, I was there just a couple of weeks ago and I was like, oh my Lord, the traffic, every time I park this car, I gotta pay somebody. And it was just like so hectic. I said, I think I like going to Atlanta or even LA because I lived out there for 4 years just for trips and then come back here because it's slower. You know, I know everywhere. I can get to where I want to get in 10 to 15 minutes. And so, yeah, I don't think that.
Cool. Well, Kendra, I definitely appreciate your time. I look forward to watching your company grow. For anyone who's interested in getting in contact with you, whether it's to pick your brain to get some information or potentially become a part of your brokerage, how can they reach you?
Well, if you're a new agent and you want to sell more real estate, you want to increase your numbers, I do have my Pink Print course, which is a 4-week course, 45-page workbook that goes with it, highlighted from beginning to end exactly what I did. So you'll be able to be successful as a new agent. And that's at www.bossbabepinkprint.com. And that's bossbabepinkprint.com. For me, all social media, Instagram, Facebook is Kendra Conyers. Maybe Kendra L. Conyers on some, but Kendra Conyers, and also my website, KendraConyers.com for more information. Awesome.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to talking to you soon and have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Real Estate Proverbs podcast with Kevin Jefferson. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when the latest video drops.